I had someone come and see me many years ago when I was first doing Reiki, and they had a issue with their shoulder. It was a frozen shoulder, and that shoulder was sitting like I could, as that person was laying on the massage table, their shoulder was sitting up, and so rolling forward. And after a while of doing Reiki, the position of that person's shoulder completely moved back into place.
What if there are things we never had the opportunity to learn? We've all been to school or training, but there are things they never taught us that actually make a powerful difference in life. I'm here to share with you all the pieces you've been missing: mindset, health, success, and more. And we'll all learn together from guests along the way. We may not have learned it the traditional way, but oh my goodness, let's keep learning how to do things differently. OMG, hello my friends. So this is going to be an interesting episode. We have talked on this podcast about burnout and about the power of our emotions and the thoughts that run around in our heads all the time, creating those emotions, and then how that affects what we do out in the world. We've talked about intuition and feeling that gut instinct that speaks to us, especially if we learn how to listen to it. We've also talked about tapping, and tapping is related to meridian points in the body, like acupressure and acupuncture. And so one of the questions that I have gotten from listeners here and there is, what about this thing I've heard of called Reiki? How is that related? Is that related to tapping or meridian points or energy or intuition? What does it mean? And listeners, I do not have the answer. So this is something where I'm learning along with you. It is definitely something we didn't learn in school, and it might resonate with you, and it absolutely might not resonate with you. So have a listen. Learn something new, see what you think, and make sure you listen to the end of the episode, because I'm going to tell you how you can tell us what you thought about the episode or a question you had, and I might share that on an upcoming Friday short OMG Teach Me Take 5. So here we go. The lovely Donna Wallace is joining me today, all the way from Australia, to help us make sense of this. She helps people all around the world to switch their lights. She has over 25 years of energy healing experience and helps people to clear the fear, heal the trauma, and connect emotionally.
Well, thank you. Hello.
Okay, so let's start with your story and tell us a little bit about how you ended up working with energy healing.
Yes. Okay, great. Let's start there. So I grew up in a household that wasn't very spiritual, that we didn't talk about anything like that. And when I was about 16, I had a family friend come up to me when I was really upset, breaking up with a boyfriend at the time. And I was, like crying and upset. You know, my world was ending because 16-year-old breaking up with a boyfriend. And she said, come over here, Donna, take a seat in the corner of where we were. And she put her hands on my shoulders. She gave me Reiki, and I didn't even know what Reiki was at that point in time, Cheryl. And this is many years ago now. But what happened was I felt that warmth coming through her hands. I immediately felt like I was calm. I could feel myself calming down. And there was just this love that was pouring through her that made me think, I don't know what this is. This is beyond someone putting her hands on my shoulders, but whatever this is, I want to know more about it. I need to know. Yeah. It turns out that her partner was a Reiki master, and I ended up learning how to do Reiki with them. And it was the opening really of both my spiritual path, but also opening up to energy healing and my intuition as well.
And intuition is one of my favorite topics. So I love how all of this is going to combine today for sure. So that's a pretty young age to know what it is that you wanted to do. So I can tell that was very impactful for sure.
Yeah, it was definitely a turning point and it piqued my curiosity. And I think that that is the thing to follow. If you're curious about something, explore it. If it feels like, oh, I wonder what that is, like there's a feeling there, like curiosity, then follow that curiosity. You never know where you're going to end up. For me, it opened up a world where my sensitivities, my emotionality, where I felt understood and I felt seen and I felt like this is something that feels very familiar to me, even though I had no prior experience. A familiarity with that energy, with the Reiki energy. I think that Reiki can often be that for people, Cheryl. I think that Reiki can often be an introduction or a foundation to energy healing, to spirituality, to your intuition, and it can really lay a beautiful foundation that then opens the doors to other things as well. Or maybe Reiki is just what you need, but I find that Reiki for me has been the foundation of all of my other healing work that's followed after that, and really gave me structure and a framework, a language, if you like, of what energy healing actually is.
Okay, perfect. Then where I wanted to go with that is to talk about, okay, what are the different types, or maybe the word is modalities of energy healing? So maybe Reiki is where we start, because you're kind of saying that was your starting point. If somebody's listening to this and they don't know anything about energy healing, how would we explain that?
Well, let's talk about what Reiki is as a beginning point. So when you are receiving Reiki, you can be sitting down or laying down, and there's a couple of different ways that you can receive it. You can receive it via hands-on, so someone places their hands on your body, and there are set hand positions that Reiki is taught, and there are also different lineages of Reiki, so there's variations of Reiki as well, many. And the person offering the Reiki is not giving you their personal energy. What they're doing is they're opening up, they're a channel for the Reiki energy to come through into their body. So the practitioner receives the Reiki energy in their body, and when they're filled up, it pours out of their hands, but actually it's drawn out of their hands by the person who's receiving it. So the person who is receiving the Reiki energy, you don't have to try and do this. This is just what happens. You don't have to consciously do anything. You will pull or draw energy through that Reiki practitioner. It might, for instance, they might have their hands on your shoulders and you might need it in your heart space, like over your chest or your belly. You will draw that energy from their hands on your shoulders into the places or parts of your body that you need it. So that's how Reiki energy works. Also, it works on your physical body, it works on your emotional body, it works on your mental body, it works on your energetic body, it works on all parts of us. And energy is intelligent, Cheryl. Reiki energy is intelligent, like the divine energy is intelligent, just like our intuition has a higher intelligence than what we could ever possibly comprehend in our minds. Energy has an intelligence too, that it just knows what to do. It knows how to work with you. It knows what you need and meets those needs. Yeah.
Fascinating.
It's beyond our mental concepts or constructs, really. It's beyond what we know. And it's hard to kind of start to fathom this on that mental, intellectual understanding. And that's where I go into, this is for you to experience. It's for you to feel. It's open the doors and have a Reiki session and feel what that feels like. Does it feel like a familiar energy to you, even though you've never had it before? Like, does it feel like, for me, it had a sense of, I'd arrived at home when I first received that Reiki through my shoulders from Joan. It was a sense of, oh, I'm at home. Like, this feels right. And so that's what we want to do. We want to actually move out of our mind and into our bodies. We want to move into the feeling experience, and Reiki does that so beautifully. Sometimes people fall asleep when they receive it and they get all the goodness anyway.
So what would be a reason that someone would want to do Reiki? Putting aside just to feel good, is it helpful for healing in a particular way, mentally, physically? How would you describe that?
All of the above. Some people go and seek out energy healing or Reiki because they feel anxious, or because their mind is overactive, or maybe they feel depressed, or maybe they've got a physical injury or ailment. Or also sometimes people know that they're like really emotional and that there's stuff happening for them, there's stuff coming up for them and they don't really know what to do with. And so they'll seek out Reiki practitioner or an energy healer to help clear that. It can leave you with a sense of clarity in your mind. So I'm talking about dropping out of your mind and moving into that feeling experience. At the same time, it can, open up a sense of clarity in your mind, a feeling of lightness in your body, deep relaxation, a sense of feeling grounded again. And also people talk about it like they feel like themselves again. And it sort of clears all of the clutter. Like if you think about we have, a shower every day. Most of us have a shower daily and we clean our body. And this is what connecting with the light, to me, I'm going to use terms interchangeably. So light, Reiki energy, the divine, God, you can use, but if we are connecting with the light every day, it's like giving ourselves an energetic shower. We want to be able to clear all the clutter. We want to clear the different things that come up for us, whether that's emotionally, energetically, in our minds, those looping thought patterns. Like we want to be able to find clarity within ourselves. And I mean that in all aspects of the word. So when we're receiving energy, we're receiving light, we're basically giving ourselves an energy shower on the inside. Well, it's not just on the inside, Cheryl, because our energy field is beyond our body, right? So our aura, our body sits within our aura. And so what we're doing is we're cleansing that, but we're also filling that with light and opening up our light body, which has a big impact on how we feel physically.
So that's fascinating. And I have a question for you, and I'm sort of formulating it in my mind as I get ready to ask it, because I wonder if I'm starting to understand what you're saying. I fully agree that we're all, of course, made of energy. That's physics, and it is inside us and outside us. And we interact with the world on an energetic level, certainly. And that's related to our emotions. And so that's the way I describe it. And I feel like we can get better at reading other people's energy and feeling what other people are kind of sending back and forth to us. And we can get better at understanding and noticing our intuition. And so is this like a lay person starting to recognize some of these things? Is that fair or no?
Yeah, I think that that's accurate. For some people who find themselves delving into energy healing, they're already quite sensitive. Some people would describe themselves as empaths and feel a lot of what other people feel and feel like they take on the energy of other people. So you tend to get people on one end of the spectrum. One end is on two ends of a spectrum, sorry. On one end, it's being an empath and you're picking up a lot of what other people are feeling and you feel like you take it on board and you kind of don't know how to clear that yourself. On the other end of the spectrum, people are shut down or haven't connected with that part of themselves yet and want to start to open up that world. Yeah. So when you get good at, like, this is all like a learning and a practice, right? To use your intuition to become energetically in tune with yourself, with others, emotionally in tune with yourself and with others, and have healthy boundaries at the same time. Like there's a beautiful midpoint on that spectrum that is us being very healthy on an emotional and energetic level. Does that make sense?
Yes. I love the way you said that. Okay, that helps. And I'm kind of just putting myself in the shoes of someone who's listening and thinking, like, I've heard of this, but I have no idea what they're talking about, so that we can make sure that it's all making sense. And that's great. A friend of mine asked me the other day, how many times have you reinvented yourself over your career? How many different things have you done? And instead of that being a negative thing, like I think many years ago, maybe it was when most people stayed in the same career for a long time, I look at this as such a positive thing. The ability to reinvent myself. And along the way, I learned so much about mindset and the power of intuition and how to really go for what we're meant to do in life. So come along with me as I share this exact same thing with you. I'm beta testing my Leading Lady community this fall for free. So go to the show notes, grab the link bit.ly/leadingladyenergy, and come on over and join us. So you said that for you, Reiki was kind of a starting point. So what other types of energy healing did you kind of move into then, or how would you describe that?
I would describe that as an apprenticeship under spirit, to be honest, of being a learner and learning as I went. So for me, it started out with Reiki, as we've talked about, a hands-on healing for people who would come and see me. I'd have a massage table set up at home. This was many years ago, Cheryl. And there are different levels of, I just want to talk about something here with Reiki. So I talked about how one version of Reiki is hands-on healing. The next level of Reiki, Reiki level 2, enables you to do distant healing. So you can do Reiki healing for someone that's not right next to you. You don't have to have your hands on their body. You can send them energy healing to anywhere in the world. And it's beautiful. It works. You can feel it. And so whether you're, on a phone call with them or like a Zoom call or what have you, they can still feel, or not, they can still feel that energy that they're being offered, if you like. So that's that. But what happened for me personally, and everyone's journey is very different in terms of this energy healing / spiritual / personal development process. But what happened for me was I started to understand, by using my intuition while I was doing those Reiki healings, just exactly what people needed. So I was saying, I would ask them, and this is not Reiki, this is starting to use my intuition in addition to Reiki. I would say, I can see this kind of energy happening around this part of your body, or I've got this feeling coming up. What does that mean for you? Or I'd touch a part of their body and they'd have an emotional release. And I was just feeling what was going on in their body, being very incredibly present, learning how to be very present with someone and understanding how healing occurs actually. And so actually one of the next stages after that was I learned about a couple of other modalities. I learned about Aurosoma, which is a color modality, and it is an energetic thing as well. But there are over 100 colored bottles, with 2 color fractions in each. And I learned about color and the energy of color and the ability for color to heal us. That was a really big part of my journey, Cheryl, that I still use now, especially in my jewelry. And then I also, and I was going through my own personal healing journey as well. So I was using color, I was using the Aurosoma, I was using Reiki, I was using a few different things to really support myself and kind of bringing myself back together again. Where was I going? And then I also studied in a psychic development circle, Cheryl, which was incredibly life-changing. I was about 21, I think, at that time, and I was doing this incredibly disciplined training, and I learned how to use my intuition in all the different levels. So there's many different levels of intuition, like clairvoyance, being able to see, clairaudience, being able to hear, clairsentience, which is feeling, claircognizance, which is knowing. I also trained as a medium and learned how to do trance channeling and lots of different things. That was a huge game changer for me because it built my confidence around intuition and also opened up the doors for me to really start to learn to see auras, to feel energy, to be able to do readings for people, a whole lot of different stuff. But for me, I never wanted to do readings for people, Cheryl, as a party trick. I didn't want it to be just this fun, trivial thing. And honestly, back at that time, that's kind of what readings were. I'm talking about over 20 years ago now. That was a fairly novel thing to do back then. And for me, it wasn't novel. It was really delving into deeply understanding humans and humanity and how we are these beings that are beyond our minds, beyond the training that we go through, the education, that our traditional education system, like understanding who we are at the heart, the essence of humans, humanity, and then what do we all need to feel a lot better? What is healing? What is healing really? How do we go through traumatic experiences and then heal those or be able to process those in a way that doesn't leave us devastated from that trauma? How do we take the gold out of those experiences and move forward in life? So I went on to study holistic counseling and some other things as well. I've done yoga teacher training, and in my yoga teacher training, like the subject that I loved the most was probably no surprise, like the energetics of yoga and understanding that. And so, yeah, as I said before, like everyone's journey on this pathway is very different and very unique based on really what you need. And I think that that's what guided me, was finding what I needed, and so, and that of course led me into family constellation therapy as well and other things. But I've learned over more than a couple of decades now of refining what energy healing is to me. I found my groove with what that is. It'll probably keep evolving, Cheryl. But it's not so much Reiki anymore, but it has deep foundations or links to Reiki and now I do my own version of energy healing.
I think for listeners who are curious and learning something brand new, for me, I know the proven benefits of kind of these separate pieces that are related, like acupuncture, EFT tapping, and they are working with, as I said in the intro, meridian points and energy in the body as well. So it's in my head, this is almost like then kind of taking it to the next level, which is really a fascinating thing.
Yeah, well, I think those modalities, what we were speaking about earlier was those modalities are a physical modality. For instance, acupuncture is obviously part of Chinese medicine. It links the energetics with the physical in a very practical sense, in terms of needles going in on pressure points and being able to open up your energy channels, and specifically in that way, meridians. Interestingly, I think that all energy healing works on a physical level. It impacts us how we feel physically. People feel lighter or stronger, or like their bodies change. There's a shift physically as well to be felt. So whether you have the intersection of something that's touching you physically or interacting with you physically or not, I think that it does, that you can't compartmentalize energy as energy. Like it's not a standalone thing. We are made of energy. So of course it impacts us physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, do you know?
Yes. And when you said feel lighter, you kind of sat up a little bit, listeners, if you can't see her. And that made me think, yes, I get that. Even on an emotional shift, maybe somebody sits up straighter, suddenly their posture gets better, those sorts of changes. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. I had someone come and see me many years ago when I was first doing Reiki, and they had a issue with their shoulder. It was a frozen shoulder, and that shoulder was sitting, like I could, as that person was laying on the massage table, their shoulder was sitting up and so rolling forward. And after a while of doing Reiki, the position of that person's shoulder completely moved back into place. And they got up off the table. This was a complete cynic as well, mind you. Happened to be a family member of mine. They got up off the table and they're like, oh, I feel better. I was like, yeah, like that's what this is. That's what healing offers you. Do you believe it yet? Because you're feeling it. You're experiencing your shoulder having release and moving positions in your body and your karma. Is this enough proof in the pudding for you?
So that brings up an interesting question then. If somebody doesn't necessarily think that this would work or this would help them, are you saying that if they went and they tried it, even having that sort of, I don't think so attitude, maybe it could help anyway?
I think energy healing will work regardless of your mental state. Yeah, we regardless of what you think about it. And this might be a bit unexpected for you, Cheryl, but I'm probably one of the world's biggest cynics. Not in terms of I don't believe in it, because I absolutely do. I've had enough experiences, so many hundreds of thousands of experiences to know that this is real and true. But actually, maybe cynical isn't the right word, but maybe skeptical. Like, there are so many modalities out there and so many practitioners. You want to use your intuition to choose who you work with. And so I think that there is a level of discernment that you need to have, like you would have with any other practitioner. Or, the thing is with this industry, it's unregulated. There's no regulations around it. Education and medicine, it's all regulated, but this area is very unregulated. What you need to do is follow that curiosity, but also your intuition, and only go to people who you actually feel like there's a level of connection or a sense of feeling safe with them, and then explore. And it's okay if you've got resistance. It's okay if you feel a bit cynical and you also feel curious and open at the same time. We can have all of those feelings present. That's fine. But really, if I was to share anything with your audience, it would be, please follow your intuition. Please go with what feels right and for you. And, if you haven't found that person, then, maybe you found me now, but, if it's, you just wait until you find that right person. Don't just jump in and try and push through what you think is your own cynicism. It might actually be discernment, and you just want to find the right people.
That is really, really important. And it's interesting because in the coaching industry that I'm a part of as a mindset coach, it's the same thing. It's not a regulated industry. And I have certifications from courses I've taken, but you don't have to. You can say that you're a coach and just do whatever you do. So I appreciate you saying that and maybe that takes us to talking about intuition a little bit. In a conversation I had with you, we went through a little exercise about kind of trying to make a decision and trying to feel, my intuition, how is that leading me? And so I wonder, is there something that we could do for the listeners like that?
What about a little connecting with energy experience?
Could do that too.
All right, let's do that. So this is part of what I offer in terms of teaching people how to connect with the light or allow themselves to connect with energy. And it's a beautiful, easy way of doing this. You'll also find this in my free gift, that 5-minute morning life-changing morning meditation. It's so long I forget the name of it sometimes. It's probably not a good thing, Cheryl, not very smart marketing. Anyway, in that 5-minute morning meditation, I teach you how to open up to energy and how to receive it. And so you can do it actually without having to be with a practitioner. It's just that practitioners often will see what we can't see for ourselves and will help us uncover other things, yes? But as an introduction, let's do this together. Okay, so would you like to close your eyes for a moment?
I will. And let me just say, if you're listening and you're driving, please do not close your eyes. Come back to this later. Okay, be safe. Yes.
Yes, please,
okay,
please be safe. Yes, that's right. We all listen to podcasts while we're driving, don't we?
Yes.
All right, so yes, pause if you're driving. Close your eyes and just take a couple of breaths and let yourself just anchor, center into your body. Good. You can take your awareness up above your head, up into the sky, beyond the sky, to where the infinite light is. You might call this the divine, might call this God energy, you might call this the universe. There is an infinite light above you, and allow yourself to connect with that and start to let that light stream down into you. It pours in through the top of your head, into your body, and also fills up your energy field, so all around your body. Sometimes I see it like a waterfall, if you're standing under a waterfall and it just starts to land on your head and move all around you, then in this case it also goes into your body. And allow that light to open up the energy in your mind. So any busyness that you've been experiencing, let that energy open up your mind. Good. Then allowing it to move down through your throat and into the center of your heart. the center of your chest, which is your heart space, and letting yourself be filled up with light, letting your heart be filled up with light. Yes, and allowing that light to move down in through your belly, letting that light clear out all of the worries and anxieties that you've been experiencing. You might even feel did you feel a little sense of dropping down, of relaxation then? You can sometimes feel these minute, micro movements in your body. It just feels like your energy is relaxing. And allowing that energy, that divine light, to move down through your legs, the soles of your feet, and into the earth beneath you. All the way down to the core of the earth, and wrapping around the core of the earth, and allowing that Mother Earth energy to come back up through that same channel of light. Mother Earth energy coming back up into your body. So now you've got this two-way stream of energy coming into you from the divine light above and from Mother Earth beneath you. And just let yourself get filled up. And as you're doing that, I'm just going to share with you the purpose of this. And the purpose is that it clears our energy. It clears energy blocks. It opens up things in our body. It helps you release different things that come up for you, whether it's energy, emotional, physical, mental. And then also fills you in with light at the same time. And allowing your light, your energy of your heart as well to grow. Letting your energy field grow, letting your light become brighter. A sense of your heart space becoming bigger, expanding now. Good, and let that continue to happen, and take another deep breath. And whenever you're ready, blinking your eyes open gently. Okay, and just allowing yourself to come back into this space. And so that's a very basic connecting with the light and connecting with the earth and allowing yourself to fill up kind of process. It is an energy healing, yes. It's a form of energy healing, and there is so much more that we can go into.
I like that visual a lot. The visual of kind of clearing out and filling up. That feels very soothing and energizing both.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Exactly. Yeah. And so that's why I created that free 5-minute life-changing morning meditation, because it's the very practice that I do for myself every single day. And once you listen to that meditation every day for 3 weeks, you will understand, you'll know how to do it without having to listen to the meditation. And so then you can continuously be clearing yourself out, filling yourself up, getting grounded and connected.
Interesting. Well, listeners, if you didn't get a chance to try that now, save this episode and come back to it. So let's talk about how people can find and connect with you. If they're getting curious, they're feeling that there's something interesting here, they want to know more, what can they do?
Of course, you can find me on my website, which is donnawallace.com.au, and you can also find me on Instagram, which is Donna Wallace Healer. And I have another business, the jewelry business, which is called the House of Orion, and all of that is linked through my website and my initial Instagram page. There's another Instagram page for the House of Orion too. You can start with downloading the free 5-minute life-changing morning meditation. You could book a free call with me, and I could have a chat with you around what's happening in your life, what's going on for you. I do love those deep dive, real, authentic conversations that actually make a difference. And so that's what I'm here for.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Well, I think that people are going to get a lot out of this as at least an introduction with a taste of what it is that energy healing is all about. This is certainly something that we didn't learn in school, or at least typically didn't learn in school. So thank you for that. And I must not forget before we go, my last question for you is, for the nostalgia playlist on Spotify and Amazon Music, what is a song that comes to mind that has happy memories, happy feelings, nostalgia attached to it for you?
The song that I have chosen to add to your list, which I'm very excited about, is called Higher Love. And it's the the newer version with Whitney Houston and Kygo, and I love that song. For me, it was about, I don't remember when it came out, but when it first came out, I could not stop listening to it and I couldn't stop dancing to it. And me and my daughter would dance with it a lot. It's an expression of pure unconditional love. And that song just is like, reminds me to connect in with that in a playful, beautiful, dancey kind of way.
Oh, I love that song. I'm so glad you said it because this playlist is playing in my life a lot. So these kind of songs are fantastic. Thank you for that. And I did not know there was a new version. So I'm going to go and look up the new version. Okay. Well, I have learned a lot. And that means I'm sure the listeners have learned a lot. And I'm feeling energized and good after that exercise. So thank you for that.
There is so much in this world of energy. Like Reiki is just the beginning. It's like the tip of the iceberg. By using energy and becoming masterful with that can really change our inner experience, our inner world, but also then has an impact, a flow-on effect to our outer world. You know, how our life's circumstances can change by changing our inner world. And so it's beautiful and something that I can talk about for probably the rest of my life, Cheryl.
And I appreciate you explaining it in such a clear way so that we could learn a little bit. So thank you for joining me.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So I know that for me, this was just brand new knowledge today. And I so appreciate Donna joining us to share that. And again, as I said at the beginning, you might find this very interesting. And you might think, wow, I need to know more. Or you might think, you know what, that is not for me at all. And Donna and I talked about that. And she has said as well, that's exactly fine. We all want to find what resonates with us if we're looking for help or we're looking for something new to make a change in our lives. So I want to hear what you thought. And you can do that at my SpeakPipe link. And it's super easy. So all you have to do is go to bit.ly/OMG Speak to Me, OMG SPEAKTOME. That will be in the show notes. And I would love to hear what you think. I'll put it in a Friday episode coming up soon. Have a great one. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. OMG, did you know that we have mini episodes every Friday as well? Make sure to follow OMG Teach Me in your favorite podcast app so you get all the goodies. And if you're just finding this podcast and you're kind of wondering where to start, I have a curated mini series for you to help you stop self-sabotaging, because we all do it. So head over to www.omgteachme.com and sign up when you get the pop-up box. We may not have learned all these things in school, but they sure are powerful now.